On the other hand, Liz is wriggling on Cry's lap while imploring him to release her and assist Citri because she is the most vulnerable, but he steadfastly declines to acknowledge her outbursts. Deep within the White Wolves' lair, in the sanctuary of the Akashic Tower, the higher-ups are perusing an instruction booklet left by Sophia. She has inscribed that they should liberate the imprisoned specters one by one, but the men dissent with that because it would simplify matters for the hunters to vanquish them, even though their leader has granted full jurisdiction to Sophia. The men believe that a woman cannot comprehend anything about warfare, and therefore they must assume control of the predicament. They resolve to disregard her directives and unleash all the specters simultaneously outside the cavern. Citri and other adventurers are questioning the two associates of the Akashic Tower they have apprehended. Citri pledges to permit both of them to walk free if they can divulge the whereabouts of their leader, Magus. The two imbeciles are prepared to forfeit their lives for their leader, but that was actually a deceptive inquiry, and Citri simply desired to verify that Magus was indeed the architect behind the entire scheme. She informs the two captives that they can accomplish it the painless method or the method she prefers. They decline to speak, so she brandishes a truth serum to employ on them. But the government representatives have the rulebook lodged inside their rear ends, and they advise her that utilizing substances that can manipulate other individuals' psyches is unlawful. Citri simply inquires if they value the law more than apprehending Magus, and even Gark supports her, instructing the representatives to allow her to perform her duties. She guarantees everyone that she was merely engaging in psychological tactics, and the truth serum is just some exotic fruit-flavored electrolyte beverage. She consumes it all, and then abruptly a deafening bellow shakes the encampment. Everyone ventures outside and discovers a colossal wolf slime advancing towards them, and this instance it is crimson and swifter than the preceding one. Citri states they will need to examine the shields around it to obliterate it, and for that she requires the defenders to position themselves in front of the monster and withstand its assaults despite being petrified. A defender complies with her request, and the monster instantaneously dispatches his shield flying. Citri then directs the mages to assail the wolf slime from all directions, while she deduces that its magical barrier renders it impervious to close-quarters combat assaults. She ponders how they can contend with it when unexpectedly a cerulean wolf slime appears there. Everyone panics and contemplates that they should withdraw immediately, but Citri remarks that she never realized Akashic Tower had morons in command when it is purported to be an organization of scholars. She instructs everyone to cease attacking and retreat to safety. And just then, the two monsters confront each other. They commence battering each other, and Citri clarifies that the wolf slimes pursue the adversary with the greatest quantity of mana, and that compels them to attack their own comrades. Soon, additional wolf slimes arrive there, and they commence battling amongst each other, while the two captives are astonished to witness their potent weapon fail. Back inside their headquarters, Magus reprimands the fools who committed this blunder and didn't even halt after observing the first two monsters clashing with each other. Sophia is communicating with them through a communication apparatus, and she states that they cannot rectify anything regarding the monsters now, but they possess more strategies in reserve. However, she informs everyone that the circumstances outside have transformed because Citri and Gark have united with the hunters. Magus subtly panics upon hearing Gark's name, but Sophia asserts that they still possess a favorable opportunity to triumph. She states that retreating is not an alternative because the hunters have two of their men as detainees, and even if they remain silent, Citri will ascertain the location of their headquarters eventually. She proposes that they should entice the enemy to their headquarters before they can prepare for it, and then annihilate them all with a master's ultimate weapon. Initially, she intends to deploy an incredibly formidable creature called Malice Eater to subdue the hunters. But since it is still in training mode, someone needs to assume command of it. She informs the fool named Flick, who botched the previous assignment, that this is his opportunity to demonstrate his full capabilities and requests him to control the Malice Eater to gather all the hunters. Flick is provoked by her words, and he vows before Magus that he will lure the hunters to the headquarters. Back at the headquarters of treasure hunters, not Sophia, observes Citri occupied with work and commences contemplating how Citri was consistently a prodigy who had no rivals. She was exceptionally driven and diligent, and not Sophia frequently felt insecure about being in her shadow. Abruptly, Sven approaches her and interrupts her thoughts. He initiates a conversation about how her anti-slime medication didn't function on the monster earlier because that wasn't a slime, and Cry should have provided them with more specifics. He then swiftly shifts the subject and inquires why the two detainees are gazing at her, because as far as he is aware, she is not the most alluring in this encampment. Sophia replies that she is clueless about that, and Sven advises her to approach him if anything transpires. Shortly thereafter, Citri ascertains the location of the Akashi Tower headquarters by analyzing the terrain and the flow of mana in the region. Everyone is astonished, and then Citri inquires of the detainees if her conjecture was accurate. Their panicked responses are sufficient to validate her theory, and they immediately appeal to the redhead alchemist to liberate them, addressing her as Sophia. The hunters inquire what they are discussing, and Citri states that Sophia is her nemesis and a pupil of Magus. She has endeavored to locate her for a considerable duration, but could never uncover more than a trace. She believes that capturing Sophia and Magus are imperative to dismantle the Akashi Tower, and she intends to settle the score with Sophia definitively this time. Not far from them, Cry, Liz, and Tino are nearing the headquarters. Liz essentially hauled him all the way there, and Cry contemplates that he is going to perish because his artifacts are not fully charged, and he doesn't possess sufficient safety rings either. Back at the encampment, the hunters are proceeding to Akashi Tower's headquarters, and the unattractive hunter informs Citri that if he had trusted Cry's words earlier, he wouldn't have fractured his arm. He is keen to learn more about Cry, and Citri states that he is the individual who will attain level 10 hunter status one day. The unattractive man is surprised to hear this, but after everything that has transpired today, he is convinced that Cry is simply remarkably powerful. Citri states that Cry is strong, but even if he were less powerful than a rabbit, he would still be the most proficient treasure hunter amongst them. Just then, lightning traverses the clouds, capturing everyone's attention, and the very next instant, a potent lightning bolt fires directly at Citri. It was launched by the individual named Flick, who is riding the flying lion monster while bragging about his ultimate incantation that can slay anyone instantaneously. He descends to the ground where all the hunters have been incapacitated and declares that now he will demonstrate to the master that he is superior to Sophia. To his astonishment, Citri abruptly rises and declares that she is accustomed to this caliber of incantations because there are more dire things she has encountered in high-level treasure vaults. Flick panics because it was his ultimate incantation, but then Citri sprays Sven with a water gun, instantly restoring him. He charges at Flick and renders him unconscious before attacking the lion monster, who effortlessly repels him. It assaults him, but then, unexpectedly, Gark arrives there and cleaves the monster in two with his axe, while Citri heals everyone with the water gun. Back in the headquarters, Magus is enraged because the idiot Flick only brought one of the monsters with him when he was supposed to bring all of them. His subordinates inform him that Flick's ultimate assault was futile, and the hunters are still advancing towards their headquarters. They desire Magus to escape while they hold off the hunters, but he opposes that notion. He proclaims that they still possess a trump card, and Sophia, until both have been defeated, they cannot forsake their headquarters. He declares that observing the battles of his disciples is his responsibility, and everyone is moved to tears. Magus commands them to continue battling with all their might, and his subordinates pledge that they will prevail. Meanwhile, Citri and others have discovered the entrance to Akashi Tower's headquarters, but Sven doubts they should enter without preparation. Gark informs him that he is all the preparation they require. He requests Citri and Sven to trust him and proceed into the cavern because he desires to demonstrate to Liz that he still possesses the spirit of a warrior.